platforms like Fortnite, Roblox, even something like Minecraft change the business model for game development, especially as that's compared to the AAA, the traditional AAA industry?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think in a few ways, like the, in one very simple way, and I'll just use Fortnite UEFN as an example, but Roblox has a lot of similarities here. The barrier to entry is very low, and the cost of development is also low, and the speed at which you can go from idea to a deployed game is very high, and the audience in the platform size and the audience for which you can put your content in front of is also very high. So that's a bunch of high low. But the reality of that is that you can make a game very quickly because you have the Unreal Engine, which a lot of folks know. It has all of Fortnite's content in a folder when you open it. So what that means is you want to make a Wild West town. You have all the assets already, and you can drag them into a scene if you're. And you don't have to be an artist to do this. You could be somebody that's got a good sense of aesthetic, and you could drag a mesa over here and put the red rock floor over here, and here's my saloon. All of that stuff is there. So that what I just described, that Wild West town, if you were building from scratch, would have in a AAA game, you would have a whole pipeline behind it that would start at previs concept and previs, and then would turn into a gray box level, which had rough modeling with no textures on it. Would get your geo would get locked, and then you would texture, and you would do this whole process that would probably take a team of like 4 or 5 working for 3 months to make your level. Now take that footprint of time and cost, I guess, and compress it down to 3 days with one person. And that is an order of magnitude difference in the effort that it takes to take an idea to a playable game. And when you can change the calculus of what does it take for me as a game designer, everybody's a game designer now, what does it take for me as a game designer to take my idea and build something that not just you could play, but 300 million people every month can play. And you shrink that effort by an order of magnitude. It now opens up a lot of opportunities for either a different funding model or different kinds of people to make the games, different kinds of games getting made, making games very quickly so you can test towards creating some new IP that you couldn't get greenlit somewhere else because, remember, I told you making games is really hard. So it's risky. Yeah. And it's hard to get investment. So you add all that stuff up and you're like, what's the impact of new platforms like this? I think that I honestly believe, this isn't hyperbole, I honestly believe fast forward a couple of years and we will start to see games winning Game of the Year that got their start, their bones were developed, or maybe they're even a UEFN Island or a Roblox game. I mean, Lethal Company. I mean, I know that wasn't a Roblox game, but that developer learned how to make games in Roblox, right?
Yeah, like you said, BattleBit. We talked about that too. Same thing.
Yeah. So, just the fact that these platforms are making access to game development more transparent, both just the number of people that are making them, the investment risk to creating them, and the ability to get to an audience, all of those things, it makes easier, more accessible, less risky. I think if you just look at it at that high level, you can't avoid an outcome where we will see something good come out of it creatively, just creatively. But the economics that's a whole different part of the conversation, but just creatively, more people, more perspectives, more kinds of roles being able to create. It is fundamentally, I think, a really good thing, and it's a big change because our industry went from just a programmer being able to make a game to shit. You need 100 people with like in 15 different disciplines to make a game. Now you're kind of seeing these platforms where anybody could make a game. A 12-year-old with no education in computer science can make a game, like an actual real good game,
Yeah.
And that's meaningful. It's really meaningful.
I was answering a question yesterday that got asked about testing, and I realized I didn't even think about this because they were asking me about like, how do I get players to test my product? What does that look like? How do I set up a test group? And I was like, well, there's, third party company, blah, blah, blah. It's these like, there's people that can help with this. It's not my area of expertise exactly. But I didn't even think about the idea of, well, you could prototype your thing on a platform that's going to throw it in front of people. And if nobody plays it, that's noteworthy. Or if people play it and then stop playing it, that's noteworthy. And so even as a way, like you were saying, to test out an IP or a way to like test to see if a prototype is valid, even if you wanted to do it in later on your own and off of their platform, you could still use that as a way to get an understanding of, do players resonate with this idea, with this design thought or core loop that I've created?
For sure.
I'm thinking about. And again, if nobody plays it, that's data. If nobody actually opts into the experience, that means like, okay, cool, this wasn't compelling. That's fascinating. It's interesting. I hadn't thought about it solving that problem as well, or at least partially.